Greetings, Bat Family. Welcome to Holy BatCast, brought to you by real fans for real movies. You can find us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Just search for Holy BatCast, you'll find us. And if you're a fan of the show and you would like to support us, you can do so on Patreon. You go to patreon.com/HolyBatCast. No pressure, but for those of you who've done it, I just want you to know it makes a huge, huge difference. And thank you, thank you, thank you. So yeah, really appreciate our patrons. If you haven't done it, I would love it. If not, that's okay. Love you anyway. We are part of the Real Fans Podcast Network. You can check out those shows at rf4rm.com. And as always, I'm your Bat host, Andy DiGenova. You can find me on Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, and Letterboxd. It's just my name, Andy DiGenova. It has been a few weeks since the last episode, so thank you for your patience. But while I've been gone, a new DC movie came out. And it is about time that we talk about it. We're going to talk about Supergirl. Spoiler free, spoiler heavy, and everything else. And joining me to talk about Supergirl, it's my super co-host. It's Brendan Lowe. Hey, Brendan.
How are you doing? Welcome back.
Thank you. It is good to be back. We had an amazing time, but it is nice to be back. And, we actually did look for theaters to see Supergirl in Greece, but it was just very inconvenient. And I was like, you know what? It's fine. Forget it. I'll just do it when I get back. So yeah. I got to see it 2 nights ago.
Awesome. Well, I got to see it 2 weeks ago. I haven't had a chance to go back and see it again, not through not wanting to see it again, just through life and children and everything else. I just haven't been able to get back there. I really wanted to have a refresher before we did this, but wasn't to be, unfortunately. So I'm going to be relying on your recollection of
my memory
to trigger my memory. Yeah,
that's okay. I'm sure we'll be fine. And what are you going to do? Also, there was quite a bit of news that happened.
Oh yeah, the Andy magic of you leaving town, and then they announced every project under the sun, except for the one we really want. But yeah.
Right. But there's even rumors around that. So it's worth stating right here at the beginning, we're going to focus on Supergirl today because that's the big thing. And then next week, we'll probably have a ton of emails and we will talk about anything else that we missed while I was gone.
Great. That'll be a 4-hour episode.
I can't wait. I mean, I already have quite a few emails, so we'll just see how long our chat goes, and we might be able to knock a couple out today. If not, we're just going to do it next time, and it gives people time to write in with their thoughts and opinions. Anyway, you want to get started? You want to talk about Supergirl?
Yes. Yeah.
Great.
It's been an amazing 2 weeks.
I bet. I mean, the fun part is I saw just bits and pieces, but I was also just happy to be disconnected and enjoying my life on the other side of the globe. It was amazing.
Yeah. No, welcome back to being a DC fan. We took 5 steps forward with Superman last year, and it feels like now we've taken 10 steps backwards.
Well, love that. All right, well, let's get into it. It is time to talk about Supergirl. Supergirl was directed by Craig Gillespie of I, Tonya and Cruella fame, and a bunch of other stuff too. And it came out on the 26th of June, again, while I was out of town. And now it's been a couple of weeks. It stars Milly Alcock as Supergirl. You've also got Jason Momoa as Lobo, Eve Ridley as Ruthie, David Cornsweet as Superman, who was credited, which I was surprised by, but I think that's cool. He's in it enough. Matthias Schoenaerts,
sure,
sorry, as Creme of the Yellow
Hills,
Creme. I'll just go with Creme.
Really Creme,
like Cher.
Yep.
Anyway, it is out. We will start spoiler free, but it's been 2 weeks. If you're a DC fan and you're listening to a DC podcast, I'm willing to bet you've seen it, but just in case you were one of those people who are like, I'll wait, or life got in the way, you didn't get to see it, we'll do spoiler free and then we'll jump into spoilers. But Supergirl has been out a couple of weeks. And like you said, what's nice is I went away, the new DC movie came out, I came back and everything was fine. Everybody's happy. Another big hit, another DC film that everybody can rally behind. And it's just, I love it. It's just nice to be in this drama-free corner of the world that talks about superhero movies.
Yep. Yep.
Well, anyway, Supergirl, spoiler-free, Brendan. What did you think?
Look, I enjoyed it. I'll give you a little peek behind the curtain in that you and I were hoping to do a review of the book before you went away.
Yeah.
And like I've said on this show openly before, like I've tried reading the book. I tried reading it when it was first announced that, the original slate and that was going to be the comic that the Supergirl movie was based on. I'm like, well, I should probably check that out. Didn't like it at all. I think maybe a quarter of the way into it, I was just like, I'm not enjoying this at all. Like, I'm not liking the story. I don't like the art. This isn't for me at all. So anyway,
and you got into some trouble for saying that you thought the art was weird.
Yeah, but look, speaking to people like, friends at work and stuff like that, I'm not the only one. So everyone can back off about that. Apparently, I'm not the only one who thinks it's very, very ugly. But yeah, so I actually, pulled the trigger. I bought a physical copy of it. It arrived a bit too late. We couldn't sync up recording times. It didn't happen anyway. So I'm like, look, I've got the trade. The movie comes out later this week. Gonna read it. And I persevered with it more this time, but I got to about the 3/4 mark this time. And I'm just like, why am I reading this? Like, I don't need to do it for an episode anymore because that ship has sailed. I'm not enjoying it. And again, to me, it's just ugly. Like, I can't, there's no other way I can describe it. I know art's subjective and I get it. It's not for everyone, but to me, it's just a very ugly book. And I stopped reading it again. I'm just like, this isn't for me. Like, I've tried twice now. I've given it a fair shot. And yeah, I really don't like this story. So I put the book down, I think it was like a day and a half before the movie came out. And I was already I was looking forward to it, but also a bit lukewarm on the movie itself, just because my feeling towards the book. And the trailers didn't give me any fist bumping moments or anything like that. And so, look, I went into it on the Friday night. I'd already heard some discourse of reactions and things like that. And I was like, oh, great. Here we go. DC movie again. Let's, this familiar territory. And I watched it with my really good friend, Maddie. And at the end of it, we looked at each other during the credits and we were both just like, I thought that was good. We both enjoyed it. Like, I'll be honest, and I put it in my my Letterboxd review. It took the story that I found slow and boring, and and I enjoyed it. Like, it's still the story. It's an adaptation of the story. It's not a direct translation of the book. But I found it more exciting. I was into it. Is it perfect? No. Is it as good as Superman last year? No. Is it better than a lot of other movies that people rave about and, lose their minds over? Absolutely. I don't see what all the discourse is about. It's a perfectly serviceable, well cast, well acted comic book movie.
Nice. Well, sounds like we are on the same page. So, I mean, I will start where you did, which is I still haven't read the book. We were going to try and do it in advance, and then it just didn't work out, and I still haven't read it. But it seems to me that is a good thing, because I have seen, I've seen some of the discourse, of course, not all of it. I haven't paid that much attention because I got better things to do.
Honeymoon.
I was on my honeymoon. I was hanging out with my wife. It was amazing. But like, it seems like the people who love the book were really let down because they wanted it to be exactly that. And I guess that there were enough liberties taken from the source material that the fans of the book were not happy. So like, I'm not coming in with any of that baggage. I'm just watching it as a movie. And like, to me, did it work as a movie? Did I enjoy myself watching this movie? And the answer is yes, I enjoyed myself. I think it is good. I don't think it's great. I don't think it's bad. I think it's perfectly good. And, you know, I've said it a million times. The internet has a really hard time with things that are just simply good. It has to be the best thing ever, or it has to
Yep.
be the
Or
worst
the
thing ever.
worst. Yep. You're
God
exactly
forbid
right.
it. God forbid it's just pretty good. Because then what are you going to yell about? What can you be mad about if it's just pretty good? And that's where this lies for me. I would even say it's better than pretty good. It's good. I agree with you. I didn't like it as much as Superman, but I had a really good time with it. I'm really glad that I was able to get in under the wire and still see it in IMAX the other night, because I'm sure that this weekend it's not in IMAX anymore. I'm sure. I would imagine Moana took the IMAX screens, but it sounds like that's not going to do well either. So, you know, hey,
We'll
silver
see.
lining. But yeah, I'm glad I got to see it in IMAX this week before it left the IMAX theaters, because yes, it's not doing well. But as far as the movie goes, I enjoyed it. I think that Milly Alcock is great. And that's one thing that I had seen across the reviews, is even people who didn't like the movie said she's great. And I've saw quite a bit, especially from like professional reviewers, of like, I wish the movie was as good as she is. And I agree. I think she's terrific as Kara. I thought she owned this movie and she was great. I loved her. Jason Momoa, you know, he was born to play Lobo. We all said it, and it's true. I think that he was super fun as Lobo. I had a good time. I thought the story was good enough without being great. But I do think that its messaging was really interesting, and I really liked that. And we'll get into that, I think, later in the spoilers. But there was a lot to like here. There just wasn't a lot to love. And that's okay. Again, I really like the characters. I especially liked Lobo and Kara. I thought the action was great. I've seen a little bit of discourse about like, oh, they didn't think that there was, I don't know, any hell yeah moments, I guess is what you said. I don't know, man. I think the action in this is really good, and I think it's just as good as the action in Superman last summer. Like you said, I think Superman's a better movie, but I think that the action stands absolutely next to it, if not maybe even a little better at places. I talked about that. Some of James Gunn's action doesn't always work for me, but this I thought was it was really well done, and the action was badass. The flying, the fighting, the Supergirl kicks ass, and I love that about it. But yeah, like, I mean, there were things that I didn't love about it, and maybe we'll wait for spoilers to get into that. But overall, I had a good time. I think the worst thing about it is my own fault. Is I went and saw it a day after getting back from Europe, and so I was jet lagged as all get out. And Cherry Coke can only do so much, but it did what it could. And so, yeah, like, I probably would have enjoyed it even more if I wasn't fighting the jet lag, but that's not anybody's fault. And the fact that I enjoyed it as much as I did, even with the jet lag, I think is a good thing. So yeah, I think that it was a good Supergirl movie. And again, coming in with no preconceived notions of what it should have been based on the book, probably helped. I am going to read the book now because I'm curious as to what they changed and what was different. But yeah, on its own, I thought it was good and I had fun watching it. And maybe its biggest sin is, well, it's two big sins, and I don't think these are spoilery. The biggest sin, number one, is that, you know, it doesn't break any new ground, really, right?
Yeah.
And then the other big sin, and this is probably my biggest nitpick, is that it's directed by Craig Gillespie. I like Craig Gillespie. I think he's a good director. And I think that there are parts in here where I'm like, I can see his hand and go, you know what? Like, again, like the action. I'm like, he shoots action differently than Gunn. And to me, I think that's actually a good thing. But too much of it felt like doing a James Gunn impression.
Mm-hmm.
And that I didn't like, because the whole point is, hey, we got the second film in the new DCU. It's the first one not directed by James Gunn. It's time to mix it up. It's time to get a different flavor, a different style. Everything in the DCU can't feel like it was directed by James Gunn. And here we are with a movie with a different director who has a very different style than James Gunn. And yet it still feels like a James Gunn movie.
Yeah.
And so I think that there is a missed opportunity there, but there are probably reasons for that, which I am also sure we will get into. based on things that have come out since the release, and that,
Yeah,
you know,
well, I've seen the headlines. I haven't dived into the stories because honestly, the last couple of weeks have just been exhausting.
yeah.
And by the time that came out, I'm just like, I could not give less of a shit. Like, I liked the movie. That's my opinion on it. I'm done.
Well, I mean, for what it's worth, like there's not much more than what was in the headlines, which is basically the movie wasn't testing great, and at a certain point, James Gunn and DC Studios did their own cut of the movie. They screened their cut. They also screened Gillespie's cut. Their cut did slightly better in the test screenings, so that's the one that's in theaters. It sounds like the differences are pretty minor. Gillespie's was a little longer, 11 minutes longer. There was a little bit of extra stuff in there, but it seems like for the most part, it's the same movie. But I think there were some changes in music there, which again is another hot topic around this movie. But yes, so like if James Gunn recut this movie with his team, there's no wonder that it maybe feels more like a James Gunn movie in the end.
Right. Okay.
But that's really it. It's not all that dramatic. It's just, yeah, like they had they had Gillespie's cut, they had, we'll call it the Gunn cut. They screened them both. The one in theaters is the Gunn cut because it did slightly better, and apparently only slightly, like 2 points better. So,
Yeah.
it's not like it's a whole different movie based on everything that's been shared.
Okay. Fair enough.
So anyway, but I mean, again, we're both very much in the same vein in that we liked it, and it's one that I look forward to seeing again, especially when I'm less tired. But overall, I was pretty satisfied, and I think that for being a different kind of Supergirl movie than we saw in 1984, the one that we discussed not that long ago. You know what? I think it works well enough. And I think there's some nice things in there, especially with her origin that I really liked. And then as far as the story itself that they told, I kind of knew what I was getting based on the trailers. And I think that's the other thing, is that it's 100% the movie that the trailers promised.
Yes.
It's exactly the movie they said they were making. It's exactly the movie they sold. And so again, I don't fully understand like some of the anger or disappointment or whatever. Cause I'm like, well, this is the movie I expected, and it's a good version of that movie.
Yep.
All right, well, let's speak freely. Let's get over the spoiler wall just in cases. So yeah, we both liked it. I think that we both probably, we'll save grades to the end, but I think we had the same grade if I remember correctly.
Possibly.
But yeah, we will speak freely. We're going to talk spoilers, so you have been warned. Spoilers are okay in 3, 2, 1. So I don't know if you have somewhere you want to start, Brendan, but
not off the top of my head, no. Like I said, it's been that sort of 2 weeks and a lot's happened. So yeah, I mean, look, to me, there's been a lot of complaints about Krem and the sort of villain that he is and his aesthetic and things like that. I didn't have a problem with it. I mean, in the book, he's literally just a guy with a beard.
yeah.
So they've made him, a bit more, what would you say, like aesthetically out there.
Mm-hmm.
Giving him like a real style, whether that worked for you or not, whatever. But yeah, watching it, I'm like, I can understand why they did this because, yeah, in the book, he's just a dude. And, they made him like the leader. He is the bad, like, I mean, yeah, he's the bad guy in the book, but like he just sort of falls into this gang. Whereas in this one, he's the leader of the gang and he, he's doing all the evil stuff. And again, it's just, to me, and I hate to say this, but like, it felt like a very kind of like Marvel-esque villain, like someone that you'd find in like one of the early Thor movies or something like that. Like, you need an antagonist. This is who they've picked. This is what he's doing to, set the wheels in motion. And, you get, it is what it is, really. You know what I'm trying to say? Like,
sure. I mean, and that has been, I think, one of the biggest complaints. And as far as I'm concerned, I think he's fine. I like his look. I like that they made his look a little more interesting, a little more scary, a little more out there. I think that that's cool. Cause like you said, like if he's just a dude with a beard, I don't know, it's a little boring for me. So I'm glad that they gave him a little bit more as far as that goes. But like based on what I had heard before I saw the movie, I expected him to suck. Like every people are hating on him. I'm like, oh, okay, let's see. And in the movie, I was like, no, he's fine. Like he's exactly what I would have expected based on the trailers. He's a bastard. He's creepy. He's a monster. He likes being evil, and so he gives you someone to hate for Supergirl to go after. And for me on that, it worked. I had no problem with that. Like I certainly found him hateable based on the first few things that he does in the movie. He's not deep, but he serves the purpose, I think, of being a villain that you can root against. And I really appreciated when he gets his comeuppance, I'm there for it, and I'm glad that Supergirl kicks his ass. So
She doesn't kick his ass.
What?
She doesn't just kick his ass.
No, yeah, she definitely does more, but she does that first. So yeah, you ain't gonna land on any lists of like great comic book villains, but he serves the purpose. So yeah, that's why I was like, so again, like people were like hating on it. I'm like, he's fine. He ain't great, but he's fine. Does the trick.
Yeah.
But I do think that it speaks to a larger issue and this is my biggest issue with the movie and I cut them all the slack in the world when I watched the trailers of like, it looks too much like Guardians. And I was like, well, it's going to happen a little bit, right? Okay, it's fine. It'll be fine. After seeing the movie, I was like, no, y'all, you just made a Guardians movie. And for all this of like, hey, like doing the next DC movie and it's going to be different than Superman. It's going to be different than the first one. That's great. That's what you should have done. But to just make it so completely cut from the same cloth as the movies you made at Marvel, like, unabashedly so. Like, well, then it's on you, man. Like, I can't defend you really because you did. You just made a Guardians movie starring Supergirl. And like, I know that sounds maybe reductive, but it's just true. Krem looks like he stepped off of what's Michael Rooker's name? What the hell was his name?
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
Yondu. Yeah, Yondu. Like Krem looks like he stepped out of off of Yondu's ship. Like all of the places on the planets they hung out, Drax could have walked in at any moment. It would have felt completely normal. Yes, they did all the music thing. They did all the quirky music, all the quirky songs at different points. And I'm like, well, you know what? You're just doing it to yourself now. Like you didn't do anything to try and differentiate this from Guardians of the Galaxy. And I like those movies. Well, at least I like 1 and 3. But like you knew that was going to happen and you leaned into it anyway, then it's on you.
Yeah.
And so that was my biggest issue is like coming out of it. I'm like, yeah, like you didn't even try to make this feel different. Like, honestly, like some of these, I'm like, did you just reuse the set from like the Guardians Christmas special? Cause that's what it looks like.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, as we're sort of talking, like things are coming back to me. Like I enjoyed, like, again, to me, I didn't have any sort of real fist bump moments until the end, I guess. And I think it's because you don't see her in costume until the end. Like,
yeah, and I called that. Do you remember I called that from the first trailer?
You did.
From that first trailer, I was like, I'm only seeing like one sequence when she's in the costume, so I sure hope that she doesn't that she puts it on before the end. And no, she does not wear it until the final big climax. Honestly,
apologies for the 4-month-old screaming in the background too. If you guys can hear that.
But honestly, like that, it doesn't bug me that much. I think it would bug me more in a different movie, if it was Batman or something. Because but like, she's super girly enough throughout the whole thing that it's an annoyance, but to me, it didn't really bug me.
Yeah,
because when she does put it on, she looks great. The suit's great, and at least that big finale. And like I said before, like the finale, I think is badass, and that's when I was fighting the jet lag the worst. But I was like, no, this is great. Like the action in that big finish to me was great. Like she kicks all kinds of ass. She does, and they put it in that final trailer. But now I know why, because it's really good, and they were hoping to use that to boost the box office.
Like I thought what would you call it, a space bus? Like I thought the bus scene was really enjoyable. When she fights the pirates and everything, and like the not morphing, but like jumping all over the place, and it's like that was enjoyable. The Seth Rogen cameo was a bit wild. It's like, what's going on there?
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
whatever. But like, I mean, that's kind of my point. I don't want to keep belaboring the point, but
yeah,
I'll stop saying it. But like that character is like, oh, so you just came from a Guardians movie, got it?
yeah. And then there was another really cool action scene in there as well. I think it was when Krem shows up and after they get betrayed by that family.
Yes, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, like, there is some really cool action beats in it, but it just, to me, I know it's apples and oranges, but it didn't reach the heights of what I felt 12 months prior.
No, I
Um,
completely agree with that. Um, Again, when I say that like some of the action I think is just as good, it's like the way it was shot, the way it was choreographed, I thought was just as good as what we saw in Superman. But yeah, it didn't have that same sort of grandeur. And I do wonder if that was the bigger issue with this movie, especially of how it's performed at the box office, is like it just didn't feel like an event the way Superman did.
mm,
And it's hard to put your finger on why that is. Is it because it's Supergirl? Is it just the way the movie looked? I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit of everything. But I think that all factors into it. But like what you just said, like there's the scene on the bus, which I thought was really cool, was really interesting. And then it eventually ends up with her getting rocketed out and finally getting to a yellow sun. Like, that's great. She finally gets to soak in that yellow sun. She comes back. The way, like, the flying in this is really good. So, like, as far as like action eye candy, I never felt like this movie was lacking.
yeah. And look, again, it's just sort of thinking while you talk, and I don't know if this is a valid point or not, but like comparing it to last year as well, like, the week prior to Superman coming out, with we had the Jurassic World movie, and you and I both felt the same way about that. Like, I don't know, like, and I just felt leading up to this one, like, I just feel like there's been um, more enjoyable movies that have come out in the lead up to it, and this sort of had it needed to sort of carry its weight a little bit more, if that makes sense. Like, I'd walked out of the cinema last year before seeing Superman a couple of times. It's kind of like, that was okay. That was all right. Whereas this year, like, I'd seen Disclosure Day like a week or so before, and, Michael and things like that, where I was walking out of the cinema going, that was awesome, like really pumped up. And then you see Supergirl, and it was just like, that was cool. Like, it was good. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just
I mean,
feels like it had more to sort of prove as well this year, maybe compared to Superman. I don't know. Maybe I'm
I
talking
know.
out of my ass.
No, I mean you are, but that's nothing new. But I get what you're saying, but also like, like the movies that came out prior to it has nothing to do with this movie. That's not,
But it's just
it's
my
not fair to
experience.
say that.
Yeah, my experience, though, I think maybe has a
But
bit
I
to do
do,
with it as
but I
well.
think I understand your point in that, like, again, the movie they sold is the movie we saw, and that's fine. But I think that you and I and others might have been hoping for like, oh, maybe they're holding some back, and they really weren't.
Mm,
It's just that. So there wasn't anything that was like, oh, holy shit, I didn't see that coming, because pretty much everything that's in the movie is what you knew you were going to get. And I think
yeah.
that does detract a little bit. Whereas Superman, I think they did hold back a lot, and I'm not just talking about like action. I'm not just talking about cameos, just as far as like, we thought we knew what Superman was about until we went to see it, and we're like,
Mm,
oh wow, like I didn't know that's what this was. And there was a lot there that I think there were some nice surprises in there, story wise and action wise and whatever. Whereas Supergirl, it's like, no, like it's the movie they told us it was. It's the story we were expecting. There was like a little extra aspect to that story about them, collecting brides from around the galaxy because they're an all male race. Like that was new, but like, yeah, it doesn't change much. Otherwise, yeah, it's what we expected, and I could understand a little bit of disappointment of being like, yeah, that was what I expected. And I think that I had that a little too. I think that it's such a double-edged sword where it's like it's very standalone, and this movie is
mhm.
very standalone. It doesn't have any surprise cameos from anyone else in the DC universe. It doesn't set up anything for Man of Tomorrow. There's none of that. It is just very much Supergirl's story, and it should be. Of course, it's her movie, but I also think that in this world of shared universes, that can be a little disappointing. Where you're like, oh, it would have been cool if there was a surprise in there for us that we never saw coming. But there's not. It's the movie that, it's the movie they told us it was going to be. And again, I respect the standalonedness of it. But I'm also just realistic of like, yeah, but imagine if they'd have mentioned a Green Lantern out there or something, like, right. Like just something like that.
Yeah. It's my second viewing, I think, is going to be very interesting because, I saw it. It had only been out for 24 hours. There'd been a little bit of discourse, enough for me to sort of think, oh, geez, what's this going to be? And then, I wrote my reviews straight after seeing it. Like it was all instant in the act, like in the moment, not, clouded by too much, outside noise and what would eventually happen over the next 2 weeks, it's going to be interesting watching it again, which will be at home. I'm not going to get to see it at the cinema again, unfortunately.
Well, allegedly, it's hitting digital in another 2 weeks.
It's coming pretty soon.
Because unfortunately, it's not making any money.
Not playing like Superman did, but
I will pay full price because I want to see it again too. There are certain movies where I'm like, you know what, I'll just suck it up because honestly, like paying full price on digital is about one ticket to go see it in IMAX anyway. So what difference is
true? So it's going to be interesting when I see it again. Having listened to a couple of reviews on it, seeing all the headlines, all the clickbaity and reactions and things like that. It's it's going to be interesting to see if I can sort of watch it and not have that in the back of my mind, which is, I know it should be easy to do, but it's not. I mean, case in point,
I know.
Remember with The Flash, how I was just like, I was messaging you that the end of my end of year list that year, I'm like, do I put The Flash in or not? Because Jesus. And, it was like, in the end, I was like, F it. I liked it. It's my list, so I will. But you know what I mean? It's just that moment of like, is this right? Should I be doing this? Like, is that what it's going to be like watching Supergirl in the future? I kind of hope not.
I mean, I get that. That does happen a lot. And ironically enough, I watched The Flash on my flight, on my trip. I hadn't watched it in probably 2 years. I watched it on my flight. I had a great time rewatching it. And it's one of those where I was like, you know what, man, people are just mean. It was good. And yeah, like you can't help but like know about that when you're rewatching it. But then for me, more times than not, I'm like, nah, people are just mean. This is fine. Relax, and I think that's how Supergirl will be. And again, I think I'm going to enjoy it even more on a rewatch because I'll be more awake and my expectations are in check. Because usually that helps. I think that's happened with The Flash. Is the first time I saw it, I really liked it, but again, I thought they were hiding all this stuff from us, and then they really weren't. And so you watch it a second time for what it is, and I think that will happen with Supergirl. Yeah. I just, for a movie this like this, I don't even know. I don't want to say the word safe, but like that's perfectly fine. I just don't understand like that people want to burn it to the ground. So like, because where I am at, I'm like, it's not good enough for me to like fight you on it. If you didn't like it, that's fine. I didn't love it that much. Where I'm like, you're crazy. It's amazing. But also like, I don't know what there is to hate about it.
Again, there's a lot of hyperbole.
It's worth noting. That our dear friend Jamie, he did not enjoy himself. He said he's glad he retired so he didn't have to talk about it because he hated it.
He also hates he and I are on pretty much the same page of the book too. He probably finished it. I didn't. He hates the book. He thought it was, I think his exact words were, it's as slow and as ugly as the comic it's based on. He hated it.
He hated it. And again, like to each their own. I'm not going to fight you. Like if you didn't like it, that's fine. But I also like Joe said this, and I agree. We're like watching the movie. I'm like, I don't know what there is to hate. Like, I just don't find anything that's like that insanely hateable about it. But whatever. I want to get to the other thing, and again, I kind of already alluded to it, and it's been a bit. I don't even want to say divisive because I haven't heard many people who've liked it, but like the songs, the needle drops. Can I tell you how much it annoys me that, fandom has adopted the term needle drops. It just annoys me. I don't know why. It's stupid. But like that was like an inside term that made its way outside, and now everybody says it because they want to sound like they know what they're talking about, and it just annoys me. Regardless, the songs. That is another thing that I don't love about it, because again, to me, it just factors in like, oh, they just did a Guardians movie. And here's the thing that like everybody seems to forget is like in Guardians, which I love that first Guardians movie. All of those songs are there for a story reason. He literally got a tape of those songs from his dying mother, and then using those songs as a soundtrack to important moments in the film was a brilliant storytelling device. And everybody misses that, like, oh, it was actually integral to the story. And now it's like, no, people just want fun songs in their superhero movies. And it has reached the point of cliche. And so when they're doing it in this, I'm like, why are we even doing it in this? She has a Walkman, so I guess for one scene it makes sense, right? But even then, it just feels like you're doing the thing that we've already seen before. I got over it pretty quick, and I'm like, well, that's what they're doing, and it's fine. Like, it didn't ruin the movie for me, but it has been done so much since that first Guardians. It's been 12 years now, and it's been done in so many superhero movies since then that it's just gotten to be too much. It's become the new cliche, and it's time to let it go. Because at a certain point, it just feels a derivative. And that's how I felt when they did it here. What's funny, though, is I've seen most people have like hated on the final song that like chimed in at the final battle. And by then, I was expecting it to be so bad that then when that's what it was. Because again, I wasn't entirely spoiled, but I had seen people being like, oh my God, that final needle drop in the battle is terrible. I was like, oh God, what is it going to be? How terrible is this going to be? And then when it chimes in, I was like, actually it works. I like it, but okay.
See that, honestly, I couldn't tell you any of the, I won't say needle drops, any of the songs used, because it didn't register with me, to be honest. I was just watching the movie. I didn't care. But yeah, the last one really took me out of the movie, because I was just like, this is a terrible version of a great song. Like, I hated the cover version they used. I thought it was terrible. Yeah,
I liked it.
Yeah, I know. I think it's just because I really like that original song, and it's. Yeah, I'm like, it's one of those times I'm like, what the hell? And I'm like, oh my God, this is the middle? Really? And it just that style of, sort of taking those like really cool songs and making them like folksy and stuff. To me, like that's a trend that I really don't like at the moment in modern music. Yeah, that pulled me out of it a bit, just because I didn't like the song, rather than just like, oh, they're using a pop song rather than score.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and I guess
the complaint though.
I mean, again, I was so expecting the worst that when it was that, I was like, oh, actually, I like it. So something you said for managed expectations. But I guess that was one of the big changes. In Craig Gillespie, they used Girls Just Want to Have Fun, or some cover of that.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that.
This was like a James Gunn change. So yeah, it's just, again, to me, it worked fine, but I guess I'm in the minority on that. But anyway, I wanted to say that about the music, because that was my biggest issue with the entire movie, is just all kind of rolled up into that, of it just feeling too derivative of Guardians stylistically, design wise, and then using the music too. It just, I'm like, if you're trying to like blaze a new trail for DC, you shouldn't have done this. So like that was my biggest issue walking out of it. All the other things that people have lobbied complaints about with Krem, I was like, Krem didn't bother me. I didn't love him, but he was fine. Like, I thought the action was great. I liked the cast overall. I'll say I thought Lobo was a blast. I thought Momoa was great as Lobo. There was more of him than I was expecting, but I didn't think it was too much. Was he kind of awkwardly shoehorned in? Yes. Did it bother me? No. But I think that would be fair. I haven't heard anyone say that, but I'm like, yeah, you can tell that, like, he's certainly not integral to the story, but
I didn't realize he wasn't in the book. I didn't know that until I read the book. Well,
so like how they included him, I think works well enough. But if someone were to say, yeah, but like he wasn't necessary, I would agree, but he was fun and I was glad he was there. So I would rather him be there than not. So yeah, I had no issue with that. And I thought the action with him was also awesome. So again, like we talked about a couple of the action scenes, like the moment where they team up for the first time kind of in the middle of the movie. I thought that was really great. He's a lot of fun. So I enjoyed him. I hope we get to see him again.
Yeah. I mean, I think I said in one of the episodes in the lead up to the movie coming out, like I don't quite get the fascination with Lobo. I think like I haven't seen him in a lot of stuff, but like the stuff I've seen him in, like some of the animated things and popping up in the occasional comic, I'm just kind of like, you're just loud and over the top, and and that's the character. I get it, but yeah, I just don't get these like ride or die Lobo fans. I'm like, okay, to each their own, but it's a bit of a head scratcher for me. But I mean, look,
well, I think it's a pretty niche fan base, as we've talked about in the past, and the box office certainly reflects that.
Yeah, like Momoa certainly embodies the character. He certainly looks like the character. It's a bit of a to me, it sort of feels like a bit of a repeat of The Rock when you hear like him talk about the character. It was just like how he grew up loving him and he's the best and all this sort of stuff. I'm just like, really? Okay, like fair enough, I guess. But
well, I believe that more about Lobo than I do about Black Adam, because there are Lobo super fans. Again, I don't think they're legion. There's not a million of them, but like there are Lobo super fans. I used to work with a guy named Pat at Pizza Hut when I was in high school. Good dude. He freaking loved Lobo. Lobo was like his dude. So like, yes, like Lobo's got that fandom. The Rock is the first person in the history of the world who ever said, I grew up loving Black Adam. Nobody ever says that. Come on. And now that I said that, I'm going to get some angry email being like, "Screw you! I've loved Black Adam my whole life." But anyway,
he's an anti-hero.
The whole Rock,
no, he's not.
Yeah, the whole thing with The Rock felt so forced because he just looked like Black Adam.
Yeah.
Whereas Lobo, it's a little easier to buy. And again, like, hey, perfect casting is perfect, and it worked in this movie for me. I thought he was cool.
Yeah, like I'm not chomping at the bit to see him show up in something else. So I'll be completely honest. It's just like, cool, you got to do Lobo. Fair enough.
I don't need a movie.
No, God, no.
But like, if he shows up in Man of Tomorrow, I'm not going to be mad about it.
Yeah, it'd be, I can take it or leave it.
I don't know if it'll happen, but I'm not going to be mad, is my point. I liked him enough. I thought he was fun. I hope he pops up in other things as like, this extra added little ingredient.
That's the thing. I think less is more. If they use him sparingly and he just shows up occasionally, has a fight, makes a couple of wisecracks and then pisses off, like that I'd be okay with. But yeah, I'm not going to be lining up to see a Lobo movie. Like that's just, I have no interest.
Yeah. I will say, and this kind of goes, sorry to go back to music, but the score is very good. I've been listening to it since I watched the movie. The score is really good. The composer is not someone I am familiar with, but I think she did a really nice job. It is Claudia Sarne. Yeah, Claudia Sarne.
Yeah, take your word for it.
Anyway, it's good. So when the movie was over, I was sitting there relaxing. I thought I had heard there was no post-credit scene. There is not, but I waited anyway, just in case. And I'm sitting there and the score is playing over the end credits. And I'm like, you know what? Score is pretty darn good. I would have loved to hear more of it during the movie. But because they leaned in with too many songs and less score, I think that was a mistake. And it reminds me of Suicide Squad back in 2016. Listen to Stephen Price's score for Suicide Squad.
It's good.
Freaking great. You get 20% of it in the movie because they did the same thing where they're like, well, this has got to be our Guardians. Let's put in a bunch of songs at the deficit of this great score that a really good composer made. And I think that we have the same thing here is like, I think they used more than Suicide Squad did, but like not nearly as much as they could have and frankly should have. Because there were moments where they were playing a song where I was like, I think this would be even more effective if you were using that score. So if you haven't listened to the score, please do. It's good. You can just get the Supergirl suite, which is its own thing, and that will mostly get you.
It's pretty good.
It was really good. Yeah.
I have listened to the suite. I haven't listened to the whole score.
Yeah, I want to give credit where credit is due. The score was quite good, especially for a composer I hadn't heard of. Superman. Superman is sprinkled throughout, but I think personally, I think in just the right way. But yeah, how
Yeah.
did you feel how they integrated him?
I think I put it in my review that, every time he
Well,
showed up.
everybody listening didn't read your review, so you're gonna have to say it.
No, I'm just thinking to myself, but like to me, again, my reaction straight after seeing the movie is I did enjoy seeing Superman show up. They didn't use him too much. They didn't overshadow Kara. And every scene he was in, I kind of like leant forward a little bit, just seeing, it felt that, a little bit more familiar territory. It felt a little bit more, getting into that comfy pair of jeans that you like wearing. Like I liked having him show up. I mean, I just like him as Superman. I really do.
Yeah,
And that's not to take away from anyone else. I just think I really enjoyed his little moments in there.
Yeah, I agree. And again, I think that the way they had him made a lot of sense. Like I loved him calling and checking in on her, making sure she's okay. I liked the flashback of him finding her. I thought that was cool. I really loved him giving her a suit. I thought that was a great thing. They put it in the trailers, but I think that's a great moment. And I love what he says about, he goes, I know it's colorful, but that lets people know that we're good. I think that's a great, simple, straightforward explanation for the colorfulness of the super suits. And I think that was really great. And then that final scene between them was really nice too. I almost feel like that final scene could have been like the mid-credit scene.
Yes. I'm glad it wasn't though.
I'm glad it wasn't.
It felt
either,
too important.
Yes, agree. Mm-hmm. I was going to say exactly this.
It's because she, throughout the movie, she doesn't know where she fits, and a sort of stupid thing online where, I think it was in one of the Superman scenes where he's like, I hope you find your people, and she's like, I have no people, and then people like, Zack Snyder's the the architect or whatever. Like it's a line of dialogue that anyone could say in any movie. Like, stop yanking my chain. And then in the end, like she's decided that she's going to give Earth a shot. Like Superman is her people. Like he is her family, and that was a really nice way to end the movie. Yeah. What did you think of Bernard?
I thought I really liked all that stuff. I loved that they told this story, but I like that they also found room to give us her origin. And it's not too much. It doesn't take too much time, but it's just enough. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I really appreciated like, why was Argo City different than Krypton? Well, it's because Zor-El tried to save it with this, with this force field, and that's why she came later. And I thought that all that was like really good. And so yeah, I dug that a lot. I will say, like, there's a moment where Clark finds her, and then there's a moment later where she's on Earth and she feels like she doesn't fit. And I did wonder, I'm like, should maybe this have been the movie? I'm not being facetious. Like, would that have been a movie that more people would have been interested in? Would it have been a movie I would have enjoyed more? I don't know. Like, I'm not saying yes or no, but I am saying like, like her arriving to Earth and learning that, like, would that have been another way to go for the first super? I mean, I know that the other Supergirl movie was also her arriving on Earth, but it'd be very different.
Yeah.
But I mean,
they would have had to speak English for a start. That would have been
yeah. But I will say this, like, and it's interesting is like, now that the movie came out and it flopped, and people not everybody, quite a few people go, yeah, the movie was fine, or it was pretty good. At least the people I surround myself with, with the exception of Jamie, all kind of fall in that it was pretty good camp, which is good. But now that the movie came out and is at least a financial failure, whether it's a creative failure, you can determine for yourself. There's a lot of Monday morning quarterbacking going on, right? Well, they should have done this, and it shouldn't have been this, and it should have been that, and blah, 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 blah. And that's so easy to say after a movie fails. Like, on paper, I completely understand what they were going for. I know why they made the move they did. Because think about it. They're like, okay, we're following up Superman. Well, we're going to follow it up with Supergirl, which is similar but different. But it's not going to be set on Earth, which is going to give it a completely different tone, different flavor, right? So it's not just going to feel like a repeat of Superman, because if they'd have done a Supergirl movie on Earth, it could have felt that way.
Yes, yeah.
And what we're going to do is we're going to base it on the most critically acclaimed Supergirl story ever written. Whether you like that story or not, again, up to you, but it is considered the best Supergirl story ever. So when you look at it that way, you go, oh, I get what you were doing, right? All that makes sense logically. It just didn't work out. And when it didn't work out, then it's like, oh, well, then you should have never done that. You should have never, you should have never based it on that story, or you never should have set it off Earth, or you shouldn't have made a Supergirl movie at all. You should have waited to do it later. All that could have been true too, but I get why they did what they did. It just didn't work out. So anyway, it's just tricky because I know I understand the rationale, and it's just a bummer it didn't work out, because now it is easy to say they should have done something else.
Yeah. It's, I mean, the movie is the movie. It is what it is, and we can't change that. It's yeah. It's just a shame it didn't work. And like I said, for someone like me, I made my feelings clear about the book. I walked out the other side of it going, okay, look, they took that story that I don't like, and they made, for me, a more enjoyable version of it. So I mean, in terms of that, that was my biggest fear going into it. It's just like, am I going to have to sit through 2 hours of this story that I hate?
Yeah.
And no, I didn't have to. And, for that, I'm very thankful. I'm glad that they made the changes that they did. And
well, and that's just it. Is I found it very easy to watch.
Yeah.
Like at no point did I want to look at my watch, or at no point did I want to leave, or at no point did I go, okay, let's move this along. I thought, yeah, I was totally fine sitting there watching it, which I know feels like faint praise, but you get my point, right? Is like, it was a very easy to watch superhero movie. And they were able to tell the Woman of Tomorrow story in a new way, weave in Lobo as best they could. But then still give us, again, like Supergirl's origin. How did she get here? What is her relationship with Clark? And give her an arc of finding herself, of being like, here's what I want my future to be. Here is the person I want to be, that brings her then back to Earth with Clark. And it's like, I don't know, for it to do all those things like that, I think is worth recognizing.
Yeah. Just jumping back to the Argo City stuff as well. The messaging that her father gives compared to, what it ended up being the messaging that Clark got from his birth parents. Very, essentially his message was just be good.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really, really cool, because it's funny, like, because she's sort of the, the badass rebel, doesn't do as she's told, drinks, carries on, parties, doesn't care. And, she was given the message of just be good, whereas Clark was given the message essentially to come and conquer. Not that he got that message, he got his messaging came from his Earth parents, which was the point. But, it's just funny that, Clark's the Boy Scout and she's the, like the redheaded stepchild. Yeah, the rebel. Yeah. And her birth parents were the one that was like, no, be good, be good.
Well, and I appreciated that Zor-El acknowledged what Jor-El had said.
Yes.
Of him being like, oh, well, there goes Clark, the would-be conqueror, or whatever he says, something to that effect. And I was like, oh, like, very interesting to like acknowledge that, of like, yes, Jor-El sent his son to conquer the planet, and I can't get behind that. I'm not my brother. And I liked the different philosophy there.
Yeah. I just thought it was a really cool juxtaposition between the two.
And I also thought it was like a really smart, and I don't know if this has been in a comic before. If it is, I missed it. This is the first time I've ever heard it, where in trying to save Argo City, they unearth the kryptonite, and that starts killing the city. I thought that was very interesting. And I was like, oh, wow. Like that's at least new to me.
Yeah. Seeing the the population of Argo City suffer the way that they did was something I didn't expect.
Yeah. And then, you understand the bond between her and Crypto, which I think was well done, because Crypto was the one thing that she got to bring with her. It was like her one connection to home. It was the one connection to her life before. When she gets to Earth, she can't even communicate with Clark. And so then, yeah, like to save Crypto, like I get it. So yeah, like I thought all that was done perfectly well too.
Yeah.
Well, to get to the other thing, and this is something I think I really like. So again, I think that the plot, let's say the plot is pretty straightforward, maybe a little basic, but the story I think is really intriguing. And what I love about what they came to, and this was one of the things I really loved about the movie, is that you don't have to be nice to be kind, and you don't have to be perfect to be good.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was a tremendous message, especially informing the arc of Kara and what she has to learn. And I liked her from the get-go. Like, yes, she was like partying it up and just living her life and just, just trying to survive and just trying to, whatever, like, dulling the pain with partying and drinks and all that. But like, even through that, I found her immediately likable. And the way she gets sucked into the story with Ruthie of being like, listen, I'm not getting involved. And as soon as she sees the injustice, she sees that guy grab Ruthie's sword. She's like, damn it. Like, I really didn't want to get involved, but like, now I've got to. And even though she's rough around the edges, I love that, like, she always does the right thing. And I appreciate that Ruthie, like, immediately recognizes that about her, of being like, you're my friend. And she's like, I'm not your friend. She's like, well, you are, because you're acting like it. She doesn't say that, but that's where and I thought that was really good. And then in the end, they have their blow up and that's fine. But Ruthie being like, yeah, you don't, just because you're not always nice doesn't mean you're not kind. And I was like, that's actually a great message. And then in the end, like, did you have an issue with Kara killing Krem?
No. Now, again, I didn't finish the book, but from listening to the Fire Risers guys, apparently that doesn't happen in the book. But I actually, you know what? I'm going to take back something I said earlier when I said there was no fist bump moment. That was actually a fist bump moment for me because, yes, she runs him through once with the sword and is like, that's what you did to my dog. I'm like, okay, cool. But then the final blow, the way she says, and that's what you did to that little girl. That for me was just like, hell, you know what? That was actually a hell yeah moment when I think back on it, because he destroyed this innocent little girl's life and made her, want to become a killer. I know I've heard some complaints of like, it was Kara spent the whole movie telling her, don't be a killer, you can't do this, and then she does it anyway. It's like, yeah, because she's taking that burden from her.
Yes, thank you. I love that.
Yeah,
I think that's, she's like, she's saving Ruthie in multiple ways, but she is saving Ruthie's soul by not letting her kill him. But she's going to do it for her. She's taking that pain, she's taking that burden because she's already living with it. They never come out and say it, but the way she talks about, like, if you take that life, it is going to haunt you. It is heavily implied that she's already carrying that burden.
Mm-hmm.
She can't let Krem go. Krem is trafficking women. She can't let him go.
No.
But she can save Ruthie from her own fate.
Yes. And that part I liked. But yeah, just the way she delivers the line too of like, and that's what you did to that little girl was, really, really good. Really
yeah.
well.
I had no issue with it because here's the other piece. I mean, the whole movie makes this point, but let me say it out loud. Supergirl is not Superman.
Mm-hmm.
And so you, like, different characters have different rules. Wonder Woman is not Batman, like Wonder Woman is a warrior. If Wonder Woman kills, that's not against her code, right? Supergirl is not Superman. So they're not breaking any rules as far as I'm concerned. And I think it's set up really well in why she does what she does. Because yes, she has to stop Krem, not just because of the dog, but because of everything else. including the dog, but to protect Ruthie at the same time, I think is great.
Yeah. And look, I mean, to me, it's I have seen a few comments here and there on things online about, you know, bringing back the old Man of Steel argument and everything. And to me, it's a completely different thing. And also different universes. Like I can never see David Corenswet Superman, you know, snapping Zod's neck. You know, completely different take on the character. Right? It just wouldn't happen. But I don't know. Like you said, in this situation, it wasn't that it was avoidable. Like, yeah, it wasn't like, you know, how Zod was about to decapitate a bunch of innocent people on Earth. But I mean, in some ways, it wasn't avoidable because, as you said, she couldn't let him go. He's an evil son of a bitch, and just for what he did to Ruthie alone, like, no, I'm sorry, you don't get to walk away from that.
Yeah. And again, like what he and his crew had been doing, in addition to what they did to Ruthie's family, in addition to what they did to Crypto, but like collecting these girls and then also like killing that family. And it's like, yes, like the family sold them out. That's, you know, that's a bad thing. But like, you understand why they did it because they think it's the only way they can save their daughter.
Correct.
Like, even that is still heartbreaking when he's like, well, then I'm going to kill all three of you too. Like, Krem more than earned his fate. So yeah, I had no issue with it. And like using it to dredge up the old Man of Steel argument. Listen, I have no problem with the end of Man of Steel, so I don't even care.
Yeah, same.
That movie makes, you know, it goes out of its way to make you understand why he did it, and people still want to be mad.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not even about this. This, as far as in the context of this movie and this story, I actually thought that was really cool because when she did it, I was a little shocked. But again, why she did it and also going out of her way to protect Ruthie's soul, I thought was awesome.
Yep. No, agreed. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. So and yeah, that worked for me. I had no issue with that.
Same. I'm just trying to think of anything else that I might have missed. But again, like I said, it's been a couple of weeks and a lot's happened, so it's a bit fuzzy.
I mean, I think we hit on most of the big high points and moments, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well then let's do this. Least favorite part, Brendan.
Oh. Jeez. I really wish I'd seen this movie again before we did this. I don't know. To me, it's all kind of the same sort of. Yeah, I honestly can't think of like a moment where I was bored or anything in the movie or going, "Oh, I wish this would hurry up and finish." I don't know, to be honest.
Okay.
I mean, look, I think maybe the part where she's on the planet with the green, was it the green moon?
Mm-hmm.
That seemed a little bit odd because like Krem's acting like she's been defeated, but also like moon's set and sun's rise, and you had to know that the yellow sun was going to come up. Like that was a bit of a weird choice.
Well, look at that. You took mine. That was exactly mine because I have no issue with like her being taken out. That's fine. Allegedly, in Craig Gillespie's cut, this sequence was longer, and I didn't need it to be longer, so I'm okay with that. But yeah, like if it goes back and forth between green and yellow, why would you leave her there? Because you know the yellow one's going to come out. Yeah.
A version of this does happen in the book. So I don't know. To me, it felt a bit. I don't know. It's just like if you're going to do the book, like you've done your own version of things. Like, and this again, this is a different take, but it's also like I don't feel that this needed to be in there. Really?
Well, and, yeah, like there was a better way to do it, and like honestly, I would have even forgiven it if there was a line of dialogue where Krem says she'll be dead long before the sun rises.
Yep.
just something to be like, hey, why'd you think you could leave her there and you'd be good? Like, just something to acknowledge it. I would have been a lot more forgiving, because when I was there going like, oh, how's she gonna get out of this? And I'm like, well, surely it can't be as simple as just waiting for the sun to come up, is it? And then it was.
Or if they make more of an effort to try and escape the planet before the sun comes up, and something happens, they get delayed, or it's like a ticking clock. I don't know. Yeah.
Right. But anyway, so good. Yeah, same. Favorite part?
I mean, the finale, obviously, when she puts on the suit. I mean, how can that not be your favorite? It's a Supergirl movie, and you want to see her in the suit kicking ass. But yeah, like, I mean, I liked all sort of the main action sequences, but you just got to give a few extra points to that finale scene because she's in the suit.
Well, look at that. We're the same again. And that's why I'm going to pay full price when it's digital, because I want to watch that finale not sleepy.
Yes.
Because I loved it already, but I'm like, I'm going to love it even more when I'm all the way with it. But yes, like, you wait the whole movie, she puts on the suit, she looks great, and then, man, she kicks a major ass, and it's awesome. Like that slow-mo kick to that dude's face, and just, oh man, that whole sequence was awesome. That's why when I heard people be like, there's no fist pump moments, I'm like, were you watching the same fight I was? Because that was awesome. But yeah, no, like, I mean, that was rad too. Oh, sorry. Another quick little moment just worth mentioning is that moment when she flies up into space and screams and you can't hear her.
Oh, I thought that was cool.
I thought that was really great as well. It was really powerful. So worth mentioning, another really cool moment.
Look, I'm looking forward to seeing it again and watching it with Jess. Because her and I go into the movies together these days I mean, for a couple of years now, it's been a very, a rarity, but particularly at the moment. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it with her. And I mean, she doesn't know any of this discourse and, all the stuff that we do behind the scenes and everything. So I'll be curious to get her take on it.
Same with Catherine, because she was kind and was like, I know you need to see it. I got the kids, so I was able to go see it. We tried to make it work.
Hilary Duff, like,
well, that's true.
You're allowed to go see a movie.
Well, that's true, because I'm like, well, tomorrow you're going to a concert. But I am excited for it to come home so she can watch it, because same, I would love to get her thoughts as well, as someone who doesn't have the baggage or whatever.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, I saw it with a girl, like with a female, one of my best friends, and she really enjoyed it for what it's worth. So, and she knows some of the discourse because she, is on social media and stuff, but probably not to the depth that I do. But she was aware going in that it wasn't being reviewed very positively.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm wondering, like, if Harley will be into it. I have no idea. I think she'll like Supergirl, but the rest of the movie is, it's a little dingy. It's a little, it's a little rough around the edges. So I don't know how much she'll be into it, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then let's give some final thoughts and some letter grades, Brendan.
I mean, like I said at the start, I went in with low expectations. I went in concerned because I don't like the source material, and I came out the other end of it going, you know what? They took a story I don't like, one that I found very, very slow, and turned it into a movie that I found enjoyable. It's not going to change my life. It's depending on the more movies come out this year, it may not even crack my top 10 for the year, but it's a perfectly serviceable comic book movie that hasn't deserved a lot of the shit that's been thrown at it. I gave it 3.5 on Letterboxd. I'm not sure what that translates to. Would it be like a B plus, something around that?
Mm-hmm.
Around that area, I think, maybe.
Yeah, well, then I'll just start at the end and say I gave it exactly the same. I gave it 3.5 stars on Letterboxd, which I consider to be a B plus.
Okay. Yeah.
I have my own like little rationale. For me, for me, 3.5 stars is good. 3 stars is pretty good. 4 stars is great.
Yeah. I know I get hammered a lot. I don't give a lot of things 5 stars. It's like, because I don't think everything's brilliant.
Well, because yeah,
Um,
five star for me is like, holy shit, completely blown away, absolutely amazing, no notes. That's 5 star for me, right?
yeah, I've
Like,
given 2 movies 5 stars this year, and that, that's it.
yeah. But yeah, for me, it's a B plus, 3.5 stars. Agreed. Like, I went in, I had a good time. I thought it was a good, entertaining, action packed Supergirl movie. When it was over, I was perfectly satisfied. There are things I would have done differently. There were things I didn't love about it, most specifically, that it just felt a little too close to some other stuff that we've seen before. And I wish it had done something a little different.
Mm.
It's not going to change your life. It's not that good, but it's good and it's entertaining and it's fun to watch. And there's nothing wrong with that. So we need to leave more room in our lives for movies that are good and entertaining, and that's okay. I mean, I can tell you already it's not in my top 10 of the year, but it's right there in the middle as a good, fun movie that I enjoyed.
Yeah. Look, of the 2 live action Supergirl movies that have been made going forward, I know which one I'll be reaching for if I feel like watching a Supergirl movie. And it's not the 1980s one.
This movie needed more Nigel. I think we can all agree.
Yeah.
I know that they didn't, but I would have liked some little nod to, to the original. That would have been
Well,
fun.
apparently Helen Slater really liked it based on
She did.
she was
Went,
posting.
yeah, she's been very supportive, and I love that for her. She's awesome. No, like, yeah, it's not so good that I'm like, you're missing out on some masterpiece like Masters of the Universe, which is absolutely a masterpiece. And if you don't love it, you hate fun, and that's on you. It's not that good, but it's still pretty good.
Yeah. That's going to be your number one for the year, isn't it?
Why don't we, it's only July.
My point exactly. That's going to be your number one for the year, isn't it? I actually want to watch that again too. I actually want to watch that with Henry, to be honest.
That hits Prime in like a couple weeks.
Yeah, I know. It's not far off.
Yeah, so that's cool. All right, well, there you go. See, we're on the same page as Supergirl. We got some B pluses, 3.5 stars. It's good. We enjoyed it. It is the bigger bummer is that like, and like you said, like we came off a good hit with Superman last year, a well-liked, well-reviewed, successful launch to the DC universe, and then the second movie out of the gate stumbles, and that sucks.
It just felt like, Christ, it's 2016, 2018, whatever year you want to pick. Like, it just feels like we're back in that territory. It's like, fuck, just give us a break, please.
Well, and that's the thing is like, stumbling financially is different than stumbling creatively. Because I think creatively the movie is fine. There's no need to panic. Financially, yeah, it sucks that it didn't do better. But the problem is when a movie is branded a flop, it must be the worst movie ever. And then, the freaking vultures are picking at the bones. And the problem with Supergirl and with so many movies this year, including Masters of the Universe, is as soon as it underperforms on Friday morning, every news outlet there is going, oh, big bomb. And then anybody who might have been like interested in seeing it is like, well, I'm not seeing it if it's a huge bomb. And then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yes.
And then you've got a week of freaking think pieces of everyone and their mom being like, here's why it bombed, here's why it's bad, here's what went wrong. And then the next week, people are like, oh, God, this movie must be really horrible. And then it completely falls off and dies unfairly because of the freaking vultures of like the 24-hour geek news cycle that like, nope, like they declare it dead before, like at the first cough. And then unfortunately, like then it just becomes the case, which just sucks.
See, this is the thing. I don't know if it's the Australian connection with this one or not, but like I was seeing Australian outlets that don't normally post that kind of stuff post several articles about how badly it's bombing, and it's just like, what the hell? Like, you didn't post stories again. You didn't post stories about Masters of the Universe, or what movie X that came out and didn't perform that well. Like, why is this having the shit kicked out of it all of a sudden? Like, what is going on?
I don't know, man. But I mean, this is a crazy summer, which I'm sure we'll talk about on Real Fans at the end of the summer. But this summer is crazy because there are a lot of movies strong IP movies that are all stumbling all over the place. And then the big success stories is stuff like Obsession and
Yeah.
Backrooms.
Right?
It's crazy. And like maybe this has been a long time coming. Like where the movie going public is finally exhausted by the constant barrage of IP. And they're like, you know what? I just need a break. Give me something else. I'll go see Obsession. And you know what? Fair enough. I don't even blame them for that. But man, like it has been time to pay the piper this summer because it's just one after another. The only big IP play that is an unqualified success as of today, Toy Story 5.
Of course. And that's the other thing with Supergirl too. It's just like man, it's had some tough competition, like some really tough competition.
Yeah, it's nuts. Like all these things that like should have been bigger, just all tripping all.
What was Superman's big competition like? Because I know it had Jurassic World the week before, but was it because Lilo and Stitch came out quite a bit before Superman?
Yeah, it came out like at least a month before. Yeah,
yeah. Like I'm just trying to think what the next big thing was after it. Like with Supergirl, it was 1 week, and it's like arguably going to be probably the highest grossing movie of the year in Toy Story 5, which apparently is actually really good. I haven't seen it yet, but
it was good. It was good. We saw it on the cruise.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's not, it's a lot like this. It was good. It wasn't amazing. It's not terrible. It was good.
I think people, from what I've heard, it's a case of like, it's so much better than 4.
I think that helps.
Yes. Yeah. Because I had no interest in seeing it, and some of the people who I trust are being like, "No, it's actually really good." So I'll see it at home when Jess is going to try and take Henry so they can have some time together. But yeah, it's had some really stiff competition.
So I know it's crazy, but it's it has been just one of many victims this summer of just audiences like rejecting these big IP plays, which is just.
I'm really curious. I'm really curious to see how Moana goes.
Like I said, Moana, the projections keep dropping, so it seems like good thing Disney's got Toy Story 5. Anyway, all that's its own thing, but it all still factors into Supergirl because that's my frustration. Is like, yeah, Supergirl opened soft. It didn't open as high as I think anyone expected, but it could have had a perfectly good second weekend, but all you had was a week of the press just hammering it, being like, huge bomb, DC Studios in trouble, blah, 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 blah. And then everyone's like, well, then I'm not going to go.
The other thing is too, without the negative press around it, I just have this feeling that it still wouldn't have been this massive, record-breaking blockbuster and stuff. But I'm curious to see how it plays when it hits streaming, because and this was my concern with it anyway, just because personally, like, if a DC movie comes out and the trailers don't get me excited, and I mean, I'm an easy lay for a DC movie, as you know, like. I can't see it getting general audiences excited. And this to me seems like, you had big stuff before it. You had Toy Story 5 directly the week after it. Is this a movie that will find an audience on streaming? Negative reviews or not, I just have this feeling where in general audiences, I think people with Supergirl will be like, I can wait for HBO Max for that.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to take the whole family to see Toy Story 5. Because that's, a surefire winner. Yes, exactly. Yep. Exactly. Yep. And I think it was sort of fighting, underwater with one hand tied behind its back to begin with before all the negativity hit. Because it's, as you said, this summer in terms of movies has just been wild. And people can't afford to go and see everything.
Well, yeah, that's very true too. But I mean, it's actually a very valid point about like... If some of the biggest DC fans we know, you included, saw the trailers and were like, yeah, I'll go. Like, if you're not a level of excited, and even I wasn't, then yeah, that says something about like the movie itself, right? And again, we ended up liking it, but yeah, it's like if you don't have us freaking out about it, there is a miss there, and I think that's fair too.
Yeah.
Ah, well, c'est la vie. Here we are.
Yep. The old familiar DC fan territory.
It's fine. I mean, the good news question mark is that in like a month we get to see Lanterns. So
Yep.
we'll get something else DC, and
which I'm sure won't be divisive at all.
Yeah. And then we got Clayface coming in the fall. So, I mean, we still have more DC stuff coming our way. It is just a shame. And I think I was about to say this and then we got distracted, is like, it's a shame that like this does hurt the momentum of this new universe. Because yeah, now we're like, well, hopefully Clayface will be a hit and people will like it.
Thing too, like
change the narrative, you know?
Like, yeah, okay, like Lanterns and Clayface would come out and be fantastic. I can't show Henry Lanterns. I can't show Henry Clayface. I couldn't show someone, say, younger than the age of, what, maybe 12? Depending on their maturity, something like Lanterns, you know, depending on what the violence and language and stuff is going to be like. You know, this is only the second thing in this universe that's really for all, you know, audiences of all ages, and it hasn't done that well. Like, all the R-rated stuff can be, you know, as highly reviewed and fantastic as it is, you still need to have stuff for everyone. And so far, you've only got Superman, really, that, you know, that audiences warm to. But hey, look, the good news is with Man of Tomorrow, it's James Gunn's best movie ever, according to James Gunn's wife. So,
oh, really?
I don't know if you heard that or not.
I did not.
Around too. Yeah, she was quoted as saying that what she's seen of Man of Tomorrow is it's James Gunn's best movie ever. But in saying that, she's probably a little bit biased.
Nah, listen, I know when my wife makes crap. I mean, that's kind of the other good thing, is that we know Man of Tomorrow is coming, and it is going to be far more in line with Superman. It also is going to be, it's not a Justice League movie, but it's getting darn close to one. And so it's just going to feel like more of an event. So I do hope that, not only do I hope it's great, but I also hope that it is a movie that, you know, people embrace. And personally, I'm excited to see Milly Alcock return in
absolutely.
In Man of Tomorrow.
Absolutely.
I want to see her on Earth in that suit, fighting alongside Superman. Bring it on.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you there 100%.
So, all right. Well, that's where we are today. Supergirl is out there. Check it out. I hope you like it. Again, the good news is, like, most of the people I know, or online or in person, they all kind of are where we are, which is like, yeah, it was good. So, you know what? That's nice to hear. And so I hope you all enjoyed it. And if you didn't, well, I hope that you like the next thing better. All right. Well, I think we have time for a couple of emails.
Yeah,
so
we can squeeze a few in there.
Yeah, let's squeeze a few in, but I'm sure next time we will have even more. So here we go. Let's check in with you, fine feathered finks, and crack open the Wayne Manor mailbox. It's time again for the Wayne Manor mailbox.
You've got mail.
What is a letter for me?
Maybe temporary.
She wrote a letter.
Messenger. This is all, Master Wayne.
Of course, a lot of them are already about Supergirl, but that's fine. We'll take them as they come and get a couple out before next time. First one up is from our pal, Stephen Marshall. It says, hey guys, hope you're doing well. I feel I should explain my Peacemaker 2 comments. When the finale hit, Twitter was in a meltdown. I'd say there was more people who disliked it than liked it. Many have said they felt like it was too much James Gunn, and the momentum after Superman seemed to die down a little after that. That's what I meant about the momentum being low. Personally, for me too, I feel like there was too much of a gap where nothing was happening. Although I do wonder if they'll announce more stuff at Comic-Con, as it seems that there isn't much confirmed or seemingly in production post Man of Tomorrow. By the way, I also think they'll call the sequel Superman Man of Tomorrow, which I think is the best course of action. Also, please get Jamie out of retirement for Man of Tomorrow. Tell him that the fan demand is off the charts. Take care, Steven. Thanks, Steven. So this is in reference to an email we got an episode or two ago where Steven said something about, the reaction to Peacemaker 2 killed the momentum of the DC universe. Thank you for clarifying the comments, Steven. Now that you say it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. People were disappointed in the finale, but maybe it's good I'm not on Twitter. I didn't see anyone going, the universe sucks because the finale of Peacemaker season 2 sucked. I didn't see any of that. So, hey, ignorance is bliss. But I guess I get what you mean about like people being disappointed in the finale of season 2 of Peacemaker, but people still seem to really like the season. So yeah, interesting. I think it's just a matter of who you're listening to and where. Also a good point about like, yeah, Postman of Tomorrow, we don't know what's coming up next. It would be great to hear. I'm with you. And as for getting Jamie out of retirement, we'll see. If he loves it, maybe he'll come out of retirement. But like we said, he was really glad to not have to record this episode with us about Supergirl.
Yeah.
Anything to add there, Brendan?
Nah, I'm good.
No? Great. All right. Terrific. All right, next email is from Brian B. It says, "Hey guys, I hope the early summer is going well. Andy, I loved both of your Masters of the Universe pods, and I love the new movie, even though I'm heartbroken that it bombed. My question is this. We are 3.5 years after Gunn's announced slate. How are we feeling about the progress so far, and what would you improve upon? Personally, I think he's doing a good job, but there is room for improvement. I understand we had a writer's strike and a studio sale, and certain A-list characters were still active, but I think we should be further along. I'm still excited, but I'm starting to get a little fidgety, even though successful launches of Supergirl, this obviously came before the movie, and Green Lantern would help. Secondly, my beloved New York Knicks won the championship last Saturday, and I was in a bar with all the Knicks fans singing Shaka Khan's Ain't Nobody till early in the morning. What's a song that brings back great memories for you guys? Personally, I would go with Ain't Nobody, as mentioned, Simply the Best by Tina Turner, also after a New York team winning the championship, and Anything by Jimmy Eat World, which my friend played constantly on the way to high school, but still makes us laugh 20-something years later. As always, thanks for the hard work. And Andy, I found the late 80s, early 90s New Adventures of He-Man on YouTube, and I watched a few. And let me tell you, that was beyond bizarre. Brian. Thanks, Brian. Good to hear from you. So, I've really never jumped into the New Adventures of He-Man because, it's like so far from...
It's the space one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the space one. And like every character is different except for He-Man and Skeletor. And I've never done... I've always meant to. Just out of curiosity, but I never have. All right. First question, Brendan. We're 3.5 years after Gunn's announced slate. How you feeling about the progress, and what would you improve
on? Pre-Supergirl, my answer probably would have been a bit different. Look, see, one of those things, when that original slate was announced, there were a lot of projects in there that I was like, could we not do that? Like, I don't give a shit about an authority. Yeah, like, no. Look, I'm excited that it has kind of morphed a bit. Like, I'm beyond excited for Man of Tomorrow next year. And like, that's something that, a couple of months ago, really, we didn't even know about. Like, it's sort of come out of nowhere. And, to me, it's so far my most anticipated movie of next year. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more movement on the Batman side of things, in terms of his universe rather than the Batman. I think the fact I'm happy with it in terms of that it has morphed and been a bit fluid and not literally just what was announced 3 or 4 years ago, because some of that stuff didn't have me excited at all, whereas other projects that popped up have.
Yeah, I am right there with you. Surprising no one. I am still happy with the DC universe we are getting. I mean, even post Supergirl, the movie didn't deliver box office, but I still like this version of Supergirl, and I'm happy to see her in the future. So I'm not mad about getting that movie. I think that overall he's doing a good job, but I also agree with you, Brian. I think there's room for improvement. I don't know if it was the last episode or 2 episodes ago, but someone asked me like, hey, if you were going to reboot the universe, what would you do? And I said, well, maybe this is boring, but I would start with Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. Mm-hmm. Get the Trinity on the table and then start branching out. Now, after Supergirl, I don't think that is lazy. I think that's the right answer, and I'm sticking by it because, like, there's a little too much randomness in the slate as it stands today. And I understand and I want to leave room for weird little surprises like a Clayface. Like, that's cool. But, like, at a certain point, it also feels a little disorganized, right? Like that initial slate, it's like, oh, we're doing Superman, we're doing Supergirl, cool. We're doing Batman the Brave and the Bold. Sure, Jan, still waiting. But then we're doing like a Themyscira show without Wonder Woman, and we're going to do a Waller show, which also, went away. And we're doing The Authority, and it's like, what are these other weird ingredients? And I thought, well, maybe it'll all make sense when we see it, but a lot of that hasn't happened. So, like you said, Brendan, I'm glad that they've allowed the space to move and change as things go, which is good. But we have a Superman, we have a Supergirl, we have a Mr. Terrific. But we're no closer to having a Batman, and we're no closer to having a Wonder Woman. And so, like, there are just pieces of the universe that not only are they missing, it feels like there's no plan for. And that's a bummer and disappointing, which is why I'm like, hey, like, sorry to be boring, but why don't we start? If you're gonna start a new universe on two strong legs, start with the Trinity, because it opens up the entire universe for you, right? And the fact that, like, that is not the case, I just think it just makes things messier, and that is a bummer. So it's like, I mean, heck, we don't even have a murmur of an Aquaman or a Flash, right? Like, so, like, some of those core DC characters, like, they don't even seem to be in discussion. And for a DC universe, you want that. So I wish there was just a more deliberate, I would say, strategy to get the main players on the board, because it does feel a little haphazard right now. But again, Man of Tomorrow, I'm super excited for, and gosh, it's sounding like it's going to be this huge thing, and I can't freaking wait. So yay. But yeah, like if you're having a DC universe without a Batman, without a Wonder Woman, like you're obviously missing some very important elements here.
Like when Marvel started their shared universe thing, there was a reason why, they had to use some of the lesser known characters, because they couldn't use Spider-Man. you know what I mean? Like, whereas DC don't have that problem. I mean, they can use any of them.
Well, and it's not even that, but like the ones they did have, they're like, hey, we have the rights to the Avengers. We have all of those guys. Why don't we get those guys out in front of people?
Yes. Yeah.
They didn't start with Ant-Man. They start with Iron Man, Captain America, Thor.
Yeah, it's a little frustrating, but the big thing with Batman is the Batman of it all. Like, are they pumping the brakes to let that thing run its course? Or I don't want to go down that path again. We've been there a number of times, but let's get on with it, guys.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm still optimistic. I'm still enjoying what we're getting, and hopefully Lanterns is great and Clayface is great, and I can't wait for Man of Tomorrow. So there's still a lot to look forward to, but I would love some movement on some of those very quiet corners of the DC universe. The other question is, any song that is like a big, like, brings back really strong, happy memories for you, Brendan?
I mean, look, honestly, anything from high school days, really, sort of mid to late 90s, early 2000s, like something like that comes on the radio or on a random Spotify playlist or something, like I'm straight back to being, 14 to 16, like, not a care in the world. And, everything was great. Everything was looking up.
Yeah. Yeah, I have tons of them, of course. The ones that come to mind, like Bush's Machine Head. Do you know that song?
No.
Machine Head? Oh my God, it's a jam. I just have a strong memory of being in high school, listening to Machine Head with two of my best friends in the car. It was cranked up, super loud, and I just was like, headbanging like crazy, and we all just laughed our butts off till we cried. So every time I hear that song, I think of that, and it makes me happy. Strangely, Livin' La Vida Loca, when that song hit, it was like so everywhere, and me and another good friend, we were obsessed with it. So I just remember she came to visit me that summer in Michigan. Livin' La Vida Loca was like in its prime popularity. I had the single on CD, and we just listened to it over and over and over and over again on that trip. And so that one immediately brings me back as well. Yeah, and then I guess I'll give the cheesy answer. Hanson's "Kiss Me When You Come Home." It's me and Catherine's song. So when I hear it, I think about my wife.
Nice.
Cool. All right. Another email. This is from Zach. It says, "Greetings, Batcasters. Zach here, emailing to report that I have beaten Lego Batman Legends of the Dark Knight. And yes, it's really good and easy to pick up and play kind of game. My favorite thing about it is free roaming Gotham City in the Batman and Robin movie costume and the Batmobile. I'm sorry, but that movie holds a special place in my heart. It was the first Batman movie I ever saw in a theater when I was 5. But here's my question. With Jason Momoa being cast as Lobo for Supergirl, is there anyone in the DCEU you would like to see cast in the new DCU? I don't know if you've answered this, but personally, I like the idea of Henry Cavill as the DCU Batman. Thanks for all you guys. So much love, Zach. P.S. I agree. Where the hell is our Blue Devil movie? I know, Zach. All right. So I'm glad you love the game. Sounds fun. When it comes to Switch, I will probably get it. But the question is there someone from the previous DCEU that you would like to see join the DCU? And we have definitely talked about Henry Cavill as Batman before.
So haven't you mentioned that previously?
We have talked about that before. It's been a while now, but we talked about it a long time ago. It was the idea came from a listener who wrote it in, and we laughed our asses off. We're like, that's brilliant. I love it. It's so evil that it's amazing. So yes, I think that would be great. Anyone else, Brendan?
Oh, I mean, it's not a big player, but I'd have no problem with Jeremy Irons coming back as Alfred, or like Commissioner Gordon being the same. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Not necessarily as the same person, because he's saying like Jason Momoa was Aquaman, now he's Lobo. Is there someone you would like recast?
Yeah, I don't know. It's Momoa, I think, was sort of the easiest to do.
Yeah.
I mean, Gal Gadot was like a Talia kind of character, maybe.
I think that would be cool. Yeah, I'd be into that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just with Affleck and stuff like that. It's just kind of like too big of a name to like, and he's so much, to me, just embodied Bruce Wayne and Batman so much. Like, I couldn't see him being somebody else.
Okay. But go with me here. What if he was Commissioner Gordon?
Yeah. Okay.
That could be kind of, it's been 10 years.
Yeah. Gray him up a bit, and yeah. Okay. I could see that.
I'm just thinking. Yeah. It's hard because it's a tough question.
Now that you've said that, I could see Matt Damon being a really good Jim Gordon.
Yeah, sure. Oh, yeah. I thought I had an idea, and now it's already out of my brain. I already forgot what it was. Because yeah, like you said, like Momoa made the most sense. Gal as Talia would be super cool, but man, that's a tough one. I don't really know. Sorry, I wish I had something else.
Yeah, but it's these off the cuff questions that we really need time to think about.
How about this? No, I'm not gonna do it.
No, what?
What if Zoe Kravitz, instead of playing Selena in the Reeves-verse, came to the DCU to play Catwoman?
Yeah. Okay.
Just an idea.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah. All right. Next message is from Sonia. It says, Dear Holy BatCast, did you ever get your Supergirl toys at KFC like you said you would? Oh, and then it said, how come Holy BatCast is the only podcast on the network that has Patreon and the others don't? Sincerely, Sonia. Thanks, Sonia. I did not get to go to KFC because then I left for vacation. I don't know if it's still there. I have to go check because I still want my Supergirl toys. And you don't even have them, Brendan.
Nope.
But as for the Patreon, it's like for the longest time, this was like this show sort of like took the most work and had the most of my attention, so it made sense to do the Patreon here. But I'll tell you a secret, like the Patreon here actually pays for hosting for real fans as well as Disorder. So like the people who contribute to Holy BatCast, which I'm very grateful for. Yeah, it pays for the hosting, not just of this show, but also real fans and Disorder, because it's like, well, usually the people kind of listen to all of them, and it just again makes my life easier. But managing one Patreon is enough. Like I couldn't imagine managing any others. So it's the Holy BatCast Patreon, but it really does support the network.
Good to know.
Anyway. All right. Oh, this is funny. This is from Justin. It just says, are we in the DCEU again? All this discourse. So I guess Supergirl, this was post Supergirl. It says Supergirl was amazing. The emotional beats all worked for me. I give it a solid 8 out of 10. I'm not sure how I feel about the ending yet. I just walked out of the theater 30 minutes ago. I wasn't sold on Momoa's Lobo, and I wanted more from the score. I genuinely don't see the hate that the movie is getting, and I hope you guys are on the same page. I love the comic, and I was shocked that they decided to adapt this because it isn't the easiest to do. However, they did a great job in loosely adapting the story, and I think that it benefited greatly. What was your favorite scene and any needle drop thoughts, Justin? And then Justin followed up. So I'm going to read this one too. And it says, okay, so after letting this fester for a week, I've settled on a 7 out of 10. I still think they did a fine job at loosely adapting the story. However, I think that if you're going to adapt the story, you needed to go all the way. In no way does this movie deserve the vitriol being thrown at it. For example, Owen Gleiberman, the Variety film critic, said that Supergirl has the worst script he's ever watched. And just said that Moana is the best Disney remake. DC still has a target on its back, and it's unfortunate that Kara has taken the brunt of it. All right. Thank you, Justin. I appreciate that. I'm glad you liked it. And I think that we already answered your questions. So we told you our favorite scenes and about the needle drops. So we covered that. I will say I saw Owen Gleiberman's review for both this and Moana. And yeah, I think he's lost his mind because that's insanity. Like the just insane anger he had at this movie. I was like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Where did Supergirl touch you? Show me on this puppet.
Yeah, the worst script you've ever seen. What are you talking about? That is just madness. And then saying that Moana is the best Disney remake is just like further madness. So yeah, I think he's lost his mind. But I mean, agreed all around. Like
that's the shit that people see. It's so frustrating. Like, and that's from like a pretty heavy hitting outlet. Like, it's not like
Variety. Yeah,
like Den of Geek. You know what I mean? Like, not to throw shit at them, but you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, really? Like, Variety? You're playing this game now? Come on. You're better than that.
Yeah, it definitely feels very like clickbaity or rage baity.
Yeah.
And apparently it worked because then I saw all these things about like, oh, like, you know, Owen Gleiberman's being review bombed because of his Supergirl review. And it's like, well, dude, like, you knew what you were doing. So if people are coming and like being mad at you because you gave an unfair review, well, you're a critic and you've been a critic for like 30 years. So you know how this works. But yeah, it felt like very rage baity, or like, yes, like he had some score to settle with James Gunn because it was just so crazy hyperbole, his review. And then like going to bat for Moana when everybody's saying how terrible it is, like weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Well, I think that's it. I'm glad you liked it, Justin. We agree with you. It certainly doesn't deserve a lot of this hate that it's getting. It's just bizarre to me. And And I'm interested to read the comic now because I do want to see the differences of like where people are like a little disappointed.
Well, if you do ever want to review it on the show, call
I'm
someone
on my
else.
own.
Eric will do it with you. Eric seems to love the book, so.
Oh, did you just quote Dan Aykroyd and Casper? Who are you going to call? Someone else.
Yeah, I didn't mean to, but sure.
All right. Well, there's still plenty of emails, but we're going to close the mailbox. But next time, we'll catch up on news, like, like Batman rumors and other things like that. But we'll also answer questions about Supergirl or the current state of the TCU, because those seem to go hand in hand right now.
Can't wait.
So it's going to be a lot of fun, Brendan. But if you would like to send an email with your questions, your thoughts, your ideas, send that to Holy BatCast at rf4rm.com. Looking forward to hearing from y'all. And yeah, we will address that next time. But for now, we did it. It's good to be back, Brendan. And if we had to live through another DC shitstorm, I'm glad we get to do it together.
Yeah. Looks same. I was, flying solo there for a couple of weeks while you were away, but
I'm back, baby.
Yeah, like it's been an interesting couple of weeks,
Yeah, it was really nice to be mostly disconnected and just been like, you know what? I don't care. I'm eating gelato in Rome. You guys bitch about a superhero movie. I don't care. Anyway, I'm glad that we were still able to do this. It was fun catching up, and we'll do it again soon. But in the meantime, what else you been up to?
Just parenting and watching movies when I can. So you can catch up with my reviews and stuff on Letterboxd and find me in the Real Fans group on Facebook.
Great. Love it. I already told you guys where to find me, but thank you as always for joining us. Please do follow or subscribe to the show where you get your podcasts. If you like the show and you don't want to be a patron, that's okay. I still love you, but what you can do to help us out, just leave a nice review. A nice review goes a long way, and it makes me feel good about myself, so would love that. Just takes a minute of your day. Doesn't cost a penny. Again, find the show on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Just search for Holy BatCast. I did drop a new toy video before I left on vacation, just to give you guys something while I was gone. So, yep, go check that out on YouTube. And if you've got something for the Wayne Manor mailbox, that address, again, is holybatcast at rf4rm.com. Our theme music was created by the talented Gaurav Venkateswar. You can find his work at gvtunes.com. And that'll do it. On behalf of Brendan, I've been Andy. We'll see you next time. Same super time, same creme channel. Holy BatCast is not affiliated with Warner Brothers or DC Entertainment. The views and opinions shared by the participants are theirs and theirs alone and do not represent the companies or organizations they happen to work for. Because we love Creme on Holy BatCast. We love him. He's the best. Number one. Cremecast coming soon.
Jesus.
It's gonna be like one of those movie by the minute podcasts. We're gonna dissect every minute that Creme is on screen, and people are gonna love it.
Good.